Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. Hopefully you guys can hear me and look at me without any issue. Audio and video is working. If that is true, please write AV in the comments so I get the confirmation that everything is working. I'm do try to basically double check using incognito window, but so far it has not worked. Apparently YouTube has gone back to that 20-second delay or something like that. This is frustrating. Okay, still waiting. Why it's still waiting? I'm live. Stream is active. What is happening here? Incognito window, but so far it has not worked. Apparently YouTube has gone back to that 20. Okay, I do apologize for this weird start. Not from me. It's happening from YouTube. YouTube did experiment with low latency, streams a few days ago, and I was invited to that function, but it's not working. Victor, yesterday I was thinking to colonize space, moon. Today I'm thinking about farm more than one crop in a year. Interesting. Shivansh Tripathi, hello to everyone. Same to you. So here we're gonna talk about the solar project and the saga that I have taken into. So you have to understand some context here. Context is that electricity in my area is bad, and I do not mean bad as in just like okay, it has a it goes and off. It's dirty also, meaning the three-phase power that I get into house. I only need one. We have to pay for three-phase so I can switch between them. So one phase could be as low as 80 volts, 90 volts. Some could be 200 volts. Some could be 300 volts. So it's a very dirty power that we have. Now let it be very clear. Whenever you are talking about power in terms of Indian grid, it's very location specific, and I mean not even in a district. It could literally be your transformer specifically that is messed up. So again, when I was in Ahmedabad, power was smooth butter power. I did not even have to worry about it. But here in my location, the power is bad. What does that mean for solar? Well, I cannot get into on-grid solar reliably. If I do on-grid solar, government will give me subsidy, but consequence of that would be I have to connect the basically inverter to the grid and pump energy into it. Now, pumping energy into a grid that is unstable, it's basically your inverter is gonna go boom very quickly. So that is not a reliable option. So for that reason, we had made sure that we're not gonna try to buy basically grid tie or hybrid, because again the grid here is not unstable, and not to mention this is a small scale setup that I did just so I can understand how the heck it works. The primary aim of this project that I did is basically to reduce electrical bill and have some level of redundancy in case of a very long power outage or really bad power, which does happen during basically I would say, summer. It's like bad, like bad. Even refrigerators starts to heat up, that kind of bad. So again, I have connected the refrigerator. I have connected the upper floors, whole inverter loads, basically fans, lights, things of that nature. So all the fans, all the lights are now connected to solar. So what solar panel we have chosen? So we started with this basically Wari solar panel. Now again, I will make a detailed video with physically being there on the roof, but right now I did not like the idea of carrying my computer to the roof. So this is the Wari panel. Which panel exactly? I bought BI 55 series. Basically in this series, basically it's a bifacial system, and I have bought BI 55 540. They have way too many models here. So they have 520 model, 525 model, 530 model, 535 model, 540 model, my model, and 545 and 550 models. There's a lot of models. And their voltages are almost the same. So, and their efficiency changes, which is odd to me. It's like how the heck your, if the cell is same, the voltage is same, how the heck you are increasing the amp? It's weird to me, but it is what it is. So last year I went into Industrial Expo. They were showcased Topcon panel. Every Topcon solar panel is old tech HJT. The later is latest technology. Is latest technology. Again, technology itself does not matter, because again you have to again, unless it's a like exponential jump, like let's say these panel they are claiming, let's say 20% efficient. Okay, let's assume worst case scenario, superheated Indian air, let's assume 15%. Does that Topcon system guarantees like let's say 30% efficient? Because again, I know anything that is latest is super expensive. And again, even these panels costed me around 12,500 rupees per panel, and I have 4 of them, around 2 kW on paper. Again, in real life, again, for this reason, I hate Indian government, because again, Indian government validates this, and somehow they validate this puppy for 25 degrees Celsius. What the hell? Why? How is that even theoretically possible to have 25 degrees Celsius in India in summer? Like, here's real. Let's be real. 25 degrees Celsius, it's a very cooled scenario. You're not gonna get it. And these panels are insulated, meaning when you look at the solar cell, photons can get into glass without any issue. Okay, that's cool, awesome, no problem. But glasses are insulator. While light can get inside the panel, basically the cell itself, if it heats up, it cannot dump the heat effectively because again, it's surrounded by insulator. So glass is an insulator. Cell that itself starts to heat up because of the light going in, it heats up, but it cannot dump the heat into air. So it's very hotter, it's much hotter than the ambient air. So ambient air could be like normal for India is 45 degrees Celsius. So cell could easily, in the early morning, the moment sun starts to pour in, it could easily cross 50 degrees Celsius. And again, cells are rated for very high temperatures. You can see every system you buy, it has that VI radiation curve and variation system with temperatures. For example, here they have temperature rating from 10 degrees Celsius, you get a lot more power. So panel that's supposed to be rated 550 in 10 degrees Celsius is going to give you 578 degrees, more power than nameplate because again, temperature. But here's the deal. In India, it would be around 70 degrees Celsius. So the panel that is around 500 watts goes down to 460 watts. That's the reality of it. And again, there have some wisdom to it because if you look into STC, standard test condition, which is not realistic, again, that's why I'm so angry at Indian government. It's like, bro, whoever makes the panel does not matter. If you are validating it for India, validate it for Indian temperature, at least 50 degrees Celsius. Come on, minimum of 50 degrees Celsius. And they have NOCT, nominal operating cell temperature, I think. It is NOCT in solar panels is normal or nominal operating cell temperature. So here's the deal. The panel that they sold me, it's 540 nameplate capacity, but here's the deal. It's actually 406 watts. So instead of 2 kilowatts, I have less than that. That's on the panel. That's why like I'm frustrated with the Indian government. It's like, bro, that's your one job. You're supposed to like rate all these things properly. So nothing wrong with the panel itself. Again, if a European design is used, it's going to be rated for 25 degrees Celsius, but it's India. And again, even Europe is heating up. So why the heck you're stuck at that? So that's the whole point. HJT solar cells are a hybrid technology combining of isosphere thin film and crystallized solar. HTC stands for heterojunction technology. I have not researched a lot into it, so I may have to look at number of video uploaded on YouTube. Why haven't you have uploaded video that you used to do? Again, if you have watched my past interactions, I have specified that the daily videos that I used to do, like basically every day I used to upload a video, and yes, I've been going for 1 year, more than 1 year, I think. Where I was like, Monday to Rocket Monday, Camera Tuesday, Computer Wednesday, Future Friday, Science Thursday, Future Friday, and live stream on the Saturdays, again in Hindi channel, and shorts on Sunday. Now, doing all of this, I have noticed a constant decline. Let that be very clear. Constant decline. The amount of watch time I'm getting, the amount of hours I'm getting, the amount of money I'm getting, everything was declining, even though my upload was constant. So I realized it was just not working and I was getting burnt out, meaning it's like I'm grinding, but output is zero. So again, 1 month, no problem. 2 months, no problem. 3 months, it starts to bothersome. 1.5 years, it becomes a very frustrating experience. So for that reason, I stopped that. Now, what is my future plan? Again, this time I was looking into it, what I can do, what is like, my niche ability to, in order to bring something unique to the YouTube. I cannot just do animations. I will lose because again, there are freaking Hollywood studios now. Like there are people who have YouTube channels who have at least 5 to 6 animators working, like dedicatedly working 24/7 to make a good animation. I can't compete against that. I'm gonna lose. So again, because that's not my what you call cachet, so to say. That's not my unique signature. So it is very difficult for me to figure out how to I monetize me, because if I do not, well, I starve to death. So for that reason, I have to find something new. This is what I'm doing right now. Right now, I have guaranteed that you're going to have Camera Tuesday. Why Camera Tuesday? Because again, I opened a new channel, third channel, 1.5 years ago, which was Camera Tuesday, because everybody in my Hindi channel was very angry about Camera Tuesday. They did not like it. They were only science and computer and all that jazz. So I split it up. I just did it. It just got monetized. So I do not want to lose it. So Camera Tuesday is fixed. Now, on Monday, I generally work my ass off to make Camera Tuesday videos and one shot. So those two things should be there under all circumstances, even in next week. and one live stream, even in English channel. So this is how I'm making sure that English channel has something going on until I figure out what is the next steps will be. Now, if I have something unique, something truly I want to talk about, of course I'm going to make video about it. This is my whole job, but I'm trying to figure out how to recalibrate. As of now, I am not there yet. I'm working on it, but not there yet. Number of videos. Okay. In Expo, this N-type rated solar panels, longer life, can handle the high temperature. What type of what is N-type solar panel? Again, I have to look too deep into it where to justify those sort of technical jargons. Again, I can talk about like what does bifacial means. Like this is bifacial, I can talk about that. Half cut panel, I can talk about that. But going that deep, I have not done the research yet. Once I do that, I will be able to talk about it, but not yet. I have not reached that level yet. So this is the panel, a Wari panel, a 500 watt class panel. Again, you're not going to get 500 watt or but, and this is my inverter. Yes, they did not give a manual to the inverter. There's just QR code you're supposed to scan. And again, I'm very angry with the manual simply because it's a freaking text image. These things are an image. You cannot zoom in into a PDF. Basically, it's a very low resolution thing that they scale data. It's not even text. I cannot select it. I cannot do text to speech, or I cannot zoom in and print out a larger one. I cannot. So even though I printed it on A4 sheets, it's very, what you call, very low. I have to read it from here. Then only it looks sharpish. So that was frustrating. But why did I look into this exact inverter? Well, here comes the interesting part. When I started this YouTube channel, again, power was still an issue. So I invested into a very heavy grade inverter. So far, before that, we had a lot of inverters, but all inverters were 12 volt system, meaning one lead acid battery and 800 VA kind of thing, very lightweight. So like 800 VA translates to around 600 watts or something like that. So this was the first time I bought a 24 volt system, meaning two batteries and around 2 kVA system that translates to 1600 watts of energy output. So it was a big system. Now the battery that I bought with that, again, the inverter was from Luminous and the battery was also from Luminous. Unfortunately, the battery did not last it only lasted around 4 or 5 years, I have to say, and the battery died. And battery died did not just like, okay, it has less power. It died. Like it did. Like there was a few days where power was very bad, and the battery is just like, nope, I'm out. So when the battery went like I'm out, consequence was there was like we sent the battery to a shop to boost charge it. It still did not hold any charge. It was just dead. Now after that bad experience with Luminous battery, we went back to our old trusted partner, which was Exide. So I bought two Exide 12 volt 200 amp hour batteries. Now these batteries are expensive as hell. Even with giving the old one as a a rebate and all that, it was expensive AF, like 40,000 rupees, kind of expensive, very expensive. So consequence of that was like I was not in the mood to buy another batteries just right now. So I was locked to 24 volts. These are two new batteries I have from year 2022. So very recent, and they should last. And again, even if you assume degradation of 2 years, it should not be like life or death kind of scenario. So 24 volt system. And in those sort of scenario, I was like, okay, I have 24 volt system locked in. So everything else was locked around that. So could I have bought an inverter that had more power? Yeah, but then other problem would have been the battery would have been too small for it. So yes, there is one company that makes 3 kVA inverter, but with running that with two battery, you can drain it way too quickly. So that's not an acceptable option. And again, it's a mishmash scenario, but I had to do the best I could do. In those sort of scenarios, this was the best option I could have. And again, the primary reason why I wanted to buy this is simply because I wanted to use this one. This is a dongle. This port is now common with many inverters. This allows you to use it as an IoT device, meaning now my inverter can report all the telemetry data, basically the voltage, the current, the grid power and all that, all the data telemetry into my mobile phone. I bought this. This is from Luminous, so it's not from like third party and I'm like, oh, it does not work. No, this is from Luminous. It worked a little bit in the first morning. I tried it yesterday morning itself, and it's poofed. I cannot get it to work again. And again, when the first time it was working, I was still trying to figure out how to log in because apparently stupid people run this company. So they have two QR codes. One is the actual QR code for the product, and another is for the app. Why they can't be one thing? So I wasted a lot of time in that, but it did not work. So at that sort of scenario, it's like this was my primary idea because again, this inverter has this. Hold on, as you can see, IoT. That was the idea, but I'm very genuinely, I bought it from a weird place which does not have return. Now again, product is original. It's just that I do not know who to call right now. But it is what it is. So let's see what I can do with it. That was my dream, because again, if I can get telemetry, it would be much easier to communicate to you guys is like what is the pros and cons of the solars and like how it works. Because again, the primary issue was that I did not had load on my inverter. So this computer, the whole thing that you are saying, is running on my basically inverter, and I worked my very ass off to have an energy efficient computer. If you'll watch my building this basically computer in live stream and a computer Wednesday video where I was talking about like how did I select components, I select AMD component, I select NVIDIA graphics card, I worked my ass off to have everything that is as efficient as possible. Consequence, it is efficient, meaning I could not put load on this. Now you're like, why do you need to put load? Well, here's the deal. These things are transformer based inverters. Transformer have this bad idea that you do not want to use them unloaded. If they're unloaded, they still require energy to maintain the magnetic flux. Consequence, if you have nothing, no load connected, it will still draw 2 to 3 amps. So it's very brutal. And again, 24 volt into 3 amps. So it's a very brutal scenario. So you always want to have some load, useful amount of load on it. Only then it's efficient. So again, substations do not have to worry about it, because again, they work their ass off to optimize it from 70 to 80%. So that sort of scenario happens normally, but here I had to do that. Now thankfully my upper floor that had its own inverter, now that has been disconnected. Now I'm running that, so hopefully that will also help in reducing the electrical bill, which is my dream. And refrigerator this summer was like not working well enough. Again, it did not have power, I can't blame it, it did not have power. So thankfully that part is sorted. Okay, I have suggestion. Make a science videos on Monday, socio-economic political video on Friday, Wednesday. So again, don't care about shorts and camera Tuesday. Here's the deal. You do not care about shorts, but YouTube does. And I've seen far more views, far more watch time even. Let that sink in. I've gotten more watch time from shorts than I'm getting on from video. And yes, the biggest problem with short is that it does not pay. That you do not get any money out of it. So I am working on action plan how I can, monetize myself far more effectively and actually get some living out of it. Because again, for last year or so, or 3 years practically speaking, again my life exploded 3 years ago, so it kind of tracks. And not to mention TikTok also happened, so all things hit at the really bad time. It destroyed everything I had, like the old system, it destroyed the old system, so I have to come up with a new system. What kind of server do we need for moon base and Mars? Normal poly panels will monocrystalline panels will work. And again, you look into space shuttle panels, uh, ISS, yeah, ISS panel. The original orange ones, they were the same, bifacial. Now, the reason we did not had bifacial panels is a normal thing back in the days is simply because the glasses were expensive. Solar panel requires a very specific kind of glass with certain level of dielectric strength, certain level of physical robustness. So that was very expensive. Nowadays, it's cheap enough where they're like, okay, what if we put it on the backside? Now, like, does the photons can enter in the right junction? Absolutely, because the cells itself, physical cell, the solar cells, they are very thin. So they just do not have enough atoms to block photons coming from the backside also. So you can get more energy out of it. So in this case scenario, you can get like, in my variant, they have options of like 15%, 20%, 25%, 30%. Basically how good the location is. And again, you must have seen a lot of video, people are placing the panels like this direct straight. It works very well in European system because they're supposed to have snowfall, so that snowfall would be absolute white, so light is entering from both sides and you're gonna have very good system. What can I do? My hope is, knock on wood, my hope is that I can do ultra white paint on my rooftop, which will again make my parents life much easier, because again upper floor will be chiller compared to the hellscape that it is right now. So again, if your roof was normally, let's say 45 degrees Celsius, it can drop to 40 degrees Celsius. Now that's a 5-degree drop. I'll take it, given the fact that I do not have to pay for it, as in like there is no energy cost to it. So it makes sense to do. So we're gonna do that. And again, hopefully that will also increase the yield of the panels. So that is a system. So normal solar panels can easily work in space. Solar cells are surprisingly robust. Like we got this. Like we got this. We got this. We can even have multi-junction if surface area is limited. What kind of solar panel do we? Okay. Who was your solar installer, shopkeeper, or any company? If you go with company, they will give you warranty on structure and wiring system. Yeah, no, this was a very low, basically very simple systems, and I'm not angry about the inverter. I'm not angry about the basically panel, not even this, but I'm very angry about the installer. Installer was just like, it was a chore and it was not good. Like for example, this is the block that they give you. This is the AC block. They have a DC one that is connected in the panel. Now, here's the deal. How you supposed to mount this to a wall or any structure? You're supposed to use screw. The individual who used that, he used a nail. So when I asked him to remove it, he said it will break. Again, it has broken. You see, because again, he did not use screw, so he could not undo this. That is so cheap and inefficient. It's like, and not to mention, you can notice like any cable that came from the factories, they generally have ferrules here. That's how it's supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to use ferrules, so that way you can properly torque it down without too much damage. Again, cable becomes and again, DC cables generally used for solars are fine stranded cable. They have like very fine strands, so if you torque it, there is a very good chance of you gonna break it. So again, I have this sort of ferrule system. It's not that expensive. I bought it just for side projects, and again, I had to use this this is the first time the large sizes were used. For example, this one 6 mm, 10 mm, and 4 mm. Like these heavy ones I rarely use. I use these small ones, but I had to use this one for the solar system. And they were like, "Ah, this is a thing that you can do." I'm like, "You're supposed to do it." The solar M4 connector that they have, again, they were using pliers to crimp it. So that was like very, very frustrating. Again, the work quality was like, ooh. And again, it kind of makes me happy that I did this simply because my whole intent is to actually eventually go into whole solar. I cannot afford like, anything other than that is not affordable in long term. So that would require 10 kW system. Because of the knowledge I have gained from this system, it's far more, I will not fall into traps in the next time. So I'm happy that I decided to do this. What you know so yeah, liquid cooler for solars. Yeah, that's a common thing in European countries, and I'm genuinely shocked why no Indian company has done it so far. Is that they have a water heater on the backside, so you run water, water extracts the heat, and voila, you get a very good, basically the cell does not overheat, and you get hot water as the byproduct. So I'm genuinely shocked why Indians are. Again, we have to do it because our panels are reaching cook-off point, meaning they will simply stop working because they are too overheated. 1/20th viewers compared to Hindi channel. Yeah, that is true. But again, I never truly grew this channel as a live channel. So that's why I'm not trying to break that mold. So now I'm uploading every week one live stream here. So hopefully over time this will start to grow. And again, I used to have this like 10 viewers, 5 viewers in Hindi channel also, but very long ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. Glasses. Okay, cost of your solar panel 12,500 per panel. In my city, solar is compulsory for houses 25 square feet. How will this impact? Don't think people will oppose. If it's compulsory, that means the law is already passed, right? So again, it's not a bad thing, but it's a bit rough. It's a bit on the nose. Again, I am totally cool doing this with water, but not that cool with solar, because solar is far more expensive, and not to mention water is a, if you do not have water, you die in 3 days. If you do not have electricity, you can still live. So in terms of forcing government to do something, I'll be far more comfortable if the government is like, hey, you are building a big ass house in this economy, that means you are loaded. Build a goddamn rainwater harvesting system. I'm like totally cool for that. But again, if you're like, hey, you are building a house, so you should build solar, I get that discussion, that economy is there, but I'm like, you're forcing it. That's like, I'm not like, I get it, but I'm like, I'm icky with the implications of that. Again, if you're talking about air and water, these things are absolute. So for that reason, they do get higher priority. But bifacial panel will not make enough units if we put liquid cooler in the back. It does not make a difference. Bifacial, it's not 50-50% output. Do not confuse that. So if you read the proper literature, that's why I printed it out and read it. It's this backside of it, it's secondary to it, meaning the panel rating is this one, like this is my panel, and this is if I have a perfect reflection on the back. It's completely. So if, for example, if it's like a 406 watt panel and nominal operating temperature, I do not know what is the nominal operating temperature for this puppy. Let's say it is there. If I have very good reflection, let's say I have a sloppy reflection 15%, I'll get extra, how much extra I get? 24% extra I get. Then my panel's output, electrical output, would be 620 watt. Now let's say I have very optimized scenario where perfect reflection is happening. That will go up to 30%. That gives the panel 702 watts. That's why. Please download it. Like download a manual and data sheet of any solar panel. That's why bifacial does not get badly impacted. It's like it's an extra boost. Again, I would have preferred not having that, but they had it. I was like, okay, and I was in rush kind of scenario where I was like, I needed to have the solar, get it working, so I can learn rather than like this is my final form, this is how it's gonna be. And be mindful, these puppies should last for 30 years. So even in future, let's say I upgrade to proper that 10 kilowatt system that I would need to run my house completely on solar. Again, these panels could become a backup system. So I still have a lot of scope there. Question about liquid cooler. Want warm water in the park summer afternoon heat? Yeah, that's another issue for India specifically. It's like, what the hell you gonna do with that hot water? So in case of India, commercial people, basically people who are running hotels, hospitals, things of that nature, where they have a lot of laundry and basically requirement of hot water, they are like shut up, take money. They are getting a lot of energy from the solar. They are getting excess heat from solar. So from them, for them case, it's like shut up, take money. But what about us? What about us, poor people? So in our case, we can, in principle, use the hot water with a mild compressor to basically drop the temperature of the panel a lot, so we get more energy. And ideally, you would want to drop the temperature enough where it's like the compressor that you are running to drop the temperature is running in that excess that you're getting. So your panel output to your system would be same. So let's say output is 400 watt, but the panel is making 500. I have to find a compressor that works in 100 watt. Now, like, why would you want to do that? Whereas if you cool the panel, you get temperature increase. So your temperature of hot water, let's say, go from 51 degrees Celsius to even hotter than that. Now, what can you do with that hot water? Here's the interesting thing. Hot water, if you have high enough temperature, a delta between the ambient air and the hot water, you can actually run a absorption chiller. Again, it won't be very efficient, but it would be an air conditioner that is running directly on solar heat. So that is like, again, your panel is creating more power. You are taking that excess power, dumping into compressor. Compressor is running a basically temperature booster, so to say. Basically, it's stepping up the temperature, and using that temperature, you can run an absorption chiller. So in principle, it can be done where you have a solar panel which is generating electricity and heat that is generating cooling. Again, it won't be very cold because again, cooling requires a very high temperature delta between the hot water and the cold water. So if a cold water is in cooling water. So if cooling water itself is 45 degrees Celsius and the hot water is 55 degrees Celsius, the delta is not enough. You barely gonna get any cooling. But if you have enough delta, let's say 60 degree or 70 degree, now we are talking. Now you can get some good cooling, almost 0.5 COP. Now, like, isn't that bad? Well, think about the free heat point of view. Basically, my 2 kilowatts system will have heat, practically speaking. So 2/3 of the energy is like it would be in heat. So you're looking at least 4 kilowatt of heat. So 6 kilowatt of heat, let's say I can get 4 to 6 kilowatts of heat, and my air conditioning is like, let's say 2 kilowatts of cooling power. That's a lot. And be mindful, it's running on the aux load. It's not running as main load. Aux load. So there is an actual use case for even hot environment, but problem is that air temperature is too hot, so we do need delta. Or you could do, if you have a big enough water tank, you run the compressor, it just heat up the water, and at night you dump that heat. At night, using that basically, again, the compressor that was heating up the water, you run the compressor and now you dump the energy into absorption chiller. That time, because again the delta will drop, so let's say India's hot would be 45 degrees Celsius, but night temperature would be 35 degrees Celsius. So now you can run a compressor at night, so all the heat that was captured in thermal energy storage, basically water tank, insulated water tank, and now you can run an AC at night using solar heat without having too much excess load. That could work. Again, it's not very optimum for small scale, but I could see it working. I could see it working. How many panels you got? 4 panels. Rainwater harvesting also compulsory for 5,000 square feet. Madhya Pradesh, Ujjain, Indore, Bhopal. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Elon Musk is live now and he's giving away cryptocurrency. Yeah, that's a fake system. Too many people have used that to troll people. Too many. Is it possible to make a nuclear bomb energy with some other material without using uranium or any such radioactive material at home? I'm not gonna answer that. I'm not gonna answer. I'm not gonna answer that. And I would suggest you study nuclear physics. You will have your answer. Everything you are looking for. Now, one issue is that while running a refrigerator, which is a main load, which benefits from running 24/7, I cannot run the AC. That's the problematic part. Now, be mindful, I can run it. It's just that because there is no smarts into the system, this is not smart, this is just telemetry. I cannot be like, okay, if the battery drains to, let's say, 20%, shut off that. So issue is that I have to be vigilant about it, and I have to turn it on when line is there. I have to turn it off when battery is depleted. That's not viable. And on top of that, the kilowatt rating is almost reaching that point. So I did run the AC, this 1.5 ton AC. Thankfully, this is an inverter AC, so it did work. Everything was fine. But the moment I turned on the computer, it's like ping, ping. It was like I gave up. So for that reason, it was like. I cannot run AC. Now, I've seen way too many Western viewers. They have a small AC kind of system, 500 watt, not even 500 watt, 200 watt. If I could buy that in India, that would be like, that I can run. So I will have my main AC that is bringing the temperature down. And once the power goes away, I will just run the small one. Small one will keep maintaining the temperature. So again, it won't be perfect, but it will be better than nothing. Because be mindful, the after the summer raw heat, that raw heat is not that bad because it's dry. But after a first rain happens, it becomes a very moist scenario. So right now it's very, very bad. So if the AC turns off, I start to sweat, even though fan is running, even though I'm on like, ground floor. So it's not that hot as compared to the floor floor. So it's very bad. So I do need dehumidification. So if somebody can recommend me any small unit that is available in India, that is like, 200 to 300 watt air conditioning, that would be awesome. That would be like, it can be built. And I've seen that like, battery powered systems and all that, but I'm not seeing it in India with reasonable price. Condition applied with reasonable price. So, hmm. How many presents you got? Okay. And what is the possibility of secret society today? There are many secret societies, just that they are not as powerful as movies make out to be. It's a what you call unstable crown. Basically, back in the days, oil people used to control the world. Right now, techno people control the world. So it changes. Back before that, it was like the courts, what they call. Uh, the literary of the courts, something like that, where it was like kings had to advisors, yeah, advisors of the court. They used to control the system, even though people will think king will do that, but advisors used to control it. So it's always there. It's just that the power they have is not that good, especially in chaos of democracy. Thankfully, democracy keeps it under kind of a balance, check and balance. Not perfect, but checks and balance. And again, because the crown changes, nobody ends up with too much oomph. Like, because here's the deal, if you looked into 90s, 1990s, early 2000, everyone was like oil, oil, oil. We don't even talk about oil anymore. That's how quickly it changed. Like, it changed while I was alive. I was like, petrol dollar, hulululu, hul. Now it's like nobody cares. So it's a very interesting scenario. Basically people who have the crown changes a lot, so that's a good thing. I'm going to burn M disk 100 GB. I'm worried about what if electricity cuts. I have no inverter or UPS. Yeah, then don't do it. Yeah, and why don't you have UPS in India? How the heck that's possible? How the heck that's viable? Yeah, then I will not recommend it. I would not recommend. Once you said income tax should be abolished, but Indian government earning 10 lakh crore by direct income tax annually, it's also spending a lot of money. Let that sink in. When you say government is earning money, it's not free money. Government has to run lot of bureaucratic engine, like a lot. A people's job has to be created, which government has to pay. Not only pay like while they are working, but also pay the retirement. They also have to build buildings, also have to have court cases, thousands and thousands and thousands of court cases where of like unpaid taxes. It's a lot of bureaucratic mess. And again, it reduces your economic horsepower. And like, if you want money, you make economic horsepower. You do not put load on the horsepower. You're like, horsepower, go, go, go. Like, how the heck do you think Dubai works? How the heck you think what we call tax haven works? They know for a fact that people want to earn money and spend it. Why the heck we are going there to as like, hey, don't spend it, save it for income taxes? Like, no, bro, go YOLO, spend it. That boosts the economy, that boosts the whole ecosystem. And again, your on paper your income becomes smaller, but because you earn so much more, people can pay GST, pay road taxes, pay all the property taxes. All those things improve so much that it's like money. So that's why I say abolish income tax. Again, it makes government's expenditure lower while increasing the overall economic horsepower. Again, it's not free for government. Government's like, 10 lakh crore. It's like, yeah, we spent 3 lakh crore just for court cases. Yeah, look into it. It's not free. It's expensive. So that's why. How many years of warranty for those panel you got? 30 years. So what is the photographic memory? Like some books says like had memory of just capture the books even if you read it for first time. Again, some people have that, but it's not a normal system. Since 1 month maximum time voltage is around 150 volts. Sometimes it goes to 200 volt. I'm in West Bengal. Yeah, that's another issue. That's why I was not looking into grid tie system. The voltage is bad. Again, right now my voltage is 181. So yeah, it's a bad. And again, another thing, stabilizers. My house has a lot of stabilizers. Of course, in India you will have it. So every stabilizer itself consumes 100 watts. Not doing anything. The AC is off, but it's still consuming 100 watts. So if I turn the AC off from, let's say, a remote, I'm still burning 100 watts of energy per hour. So it's a very system thing. You're wrong about abolition of income tax. There should be income tax, but not too much. Here's the deal. There is no not too much. Even if you have a very small percentage, people have to have government jobs. People have to have the CAS department. Like it's a, again, there are countries who did this and they are richer than us. Done. I cannot keep going back and forth on this. Like it's a very simple. You want people to be happy and government to have little sections from all of them, or just like few people who are paying. Because again, in India's case, it's like 2 crore people. Again, I hope it's wrong, but like if it's only 2 to 3 crore people who are literally paying that much, he's like, "Eeh, you don't want that. You do not want that." You can keep explaining it, but it's the first income should be there. I agree. Your boy agrees. I agree with that. The last few months have been tight, financially speaking. So yeah, ooh, that was like painful. That was painful. Okay. Yeah, I was wanted to talk about something first. What I was going to talk about? I forgot. Oh yeah, in case of battery, because lead acid battery requires water, and water is like a very tricky thing to do because on paper there are so many companies that are selling distilled water. It's not very like high purity enough, so to say, and not to mention some apparently I do not know the full science of it, but people have warned that. But how would you fund a military and other important things if completely abolish income tax? Income tax is a very small subset for a government income. Very small. It's not insignificant. Let that be very clear. It's not insignificant, but it's small. And once you remove that, other parts grows up. Like okay, let me put it mathematically. Why do you think income tax is generally limited to 30%? Because people were stupid enough to try to increase it. Now here's the deal. What happens? Once you reach that 30 plus mark, people start to make less money. They're just like, yeah, what's the point of making money? I'm not getting it. Like literally, there are some European nations that have very high income tax. Everything is free, but like nobody is rich. Nobody is rich. They are showing like a musician who's like musician in America would be like musician in India, musician in European countries like, oh, I have two TVs, I can afford two TVs. So there's a point. Like if you increase the basically, if you have people who are making more money, because again they are not giving it to the government, they will spend the money in the economy itself, and you have taking like GST. What's the point of GST? Take the money. What's the point of road tax? Taking money. What's the point of property tax? You taking money. What's the point of all the tolls and all the taxes, that everything? And again, I'm talking about income tax, not corporate tax. Corporate tax are still there. So then if you earn crores, the tax goes to as high as 42%. Yeah, that's also another data point. But again, at that point, it's like, yeah, you can handle it. And be mindful, countries exist without income tax. And surprisingly, and be mindful, even New York did not have like state tax and all that. And they had fire brigades, they had police force, they had everything. It's just that we taught ourselves into that, like, it has to be there. It's like, no, it's like inefficient. Your sound is low. Okay. Uh, I hope it's right now. I hope it's right. Refund military and other income taxes. Okay, you heard about NEET scam. Your views on that? Here's the deal. Education is important, right? We are all agreeing on that. But here's the deal. Everything has an upper limit. Everything. For example, when I was a game artist, 3D game artist, one of my senior faculty members, again, he was not a teacher, but he was teaching us because again, companies had like such a bad experience with students. They were like, okay, we're gonna take the students and we're gonna train them for 6 months. Only then we're gonna absorb them into final production line. So they were teaching us and all that. It's like they were doing their best, and it was actually good experience. Real world, real portfolio work. Like not just like, okay, we made something cool. It's like how do you make it in production pipeline? And we had a good talk, and he was like, okay, how much you are willing to pay for it? I was like, okay, very little amount. I was like, why do you think it's that bad? I'm like, no, I cannot make that much money with this skill set. It's like, think about it. It's like my skill set is I can catalog books in library. Okay, cool, awesome. GG. How many libraries are there? How much competition in there that job is? So same thing goes in that NEET part. So if something has too much, it's time to back off. It's like, okay, it's too much. It's like, No, your sound is good, no problem. Okay. I think you may be using headphone, so that why you may have a very good experience. Any recommendations on burning MDIS software? I think I've just used normal Windows software, nothing fancy. As of now. As of now, I have not burnt any new disk in quite a while. Quite a while. So that was one of those things. Again, if any of you know about this, please do tell me how the heck to get this working. I cannot return it. I'm stuck with this. Okay, besides that, there is one another problem that I really want to solve, and I want all of you guys to help me out. Is that I have an induction motor that is 1 horsepower. It's a bit old one, like 15 years old kind of induction motor. I do need it to run on inverter. Now, problem with that is like the inrush current will fry the inverter. And of course, I'm willing to like have a switchover case, meaning if it's on one switch and if it's on the other switch, it disconnects all the loads and only run the jet pump. Jet pump only needs to run for 1 to 2 hours. And again, solar panels have more than enough oomph to drive it, but I need a VFD device. Unfortunately, I'm not getting any good quotes on that. Like the quote I got, like 19,000. That's too much for a VFD. So if any of you know a VFD or soft starter, that will help me a lot. I need that. And again, my requirement is not very high, but like I'm already burnt too much by paying so much for installation. It's like, again, the panel I'm not that angry about. It is what it is. It's okay. And again, I did cross reference and all that. Inverter also. I cross-referenced and all that. So those things are okay. And battery I already had. So these things have competition and open market. So you can easily get a good price on that. Installation, they're just like, and again, the quality is bad. So income tax is 11,000 crore, GST is 10,000 crore, corporate tax is 10,000 crore. You already saw that. Already saw that. And be mindful, this is another thing you have to think. Income tax is not free for the government. Government have to work their ass off. Running those websites is not free, and yes, it costs crore because of the government bureaucracy. Government have to run basically thousands of cases, not one case, thousands of cases. And now everybody's like, oh, we need more judges. You see, you literally have a bonkers amount of what you call bureaucracy just to get that 11,000 crore. Remove that 11,000 crore, that does not disappear. It absorbs in other things. Economics becomes healthier. Now you have more oomph. That's why it's doable. New York didn't have state income tax, but they do have pay full federal income tax, which is applicable for all. Again, you're talking about now. I'm talking about like it's a very old meme at this point in time, like very old, as in like 1800s kind of scenario. They had everything. Like that's the whole thing. It's like people kind of like we train people into believing this like you need this sort of stupid tax system. It's like no, you're already collecting the money. And again, the more method of collecting money you build, the more you have to spend on the bureaucracy to run it. Like his deal, people, you cannot just like, oh, income tax, his deal. Somebody has to sit down there, somebody has to write the laws, somebody has to update the law, and it has to go through parliament. You see the problem? And that's not free. That costs money, thousands of crores, just to get some paperwork done. And again, it has to go through the system. And again, do you want your people to make boatload of money, spend it on the economy, and that gives you boost? Or do you want to be like, I take money from you? And again, you're like, again, people will fight. People will try to find a cheat code around it. And again, or you could be just like, hey, no income tax, brah. No income tax. Chill, bro. Chill. Just spend the money here. Again, if you want to have a scenario where it's like, okay, India cannot send money abroad. Again, it should not be a blockade. Again, that's a, like a dictatorship. That's a, North Korean kind of thing. Nothing like that. But it's like, if you are sending money abroad, we're going to charge a bit more. Again, that will be totally fine, totally cool. But that's the whole point. No income tax can boost consumption. India runs on consumption. That's the whole point. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's like it can be done. It's like if people want to do it, it can be done. Of course, it will require a very big switching period. I'm not expecting like, let's say tomorrow government starts to like, okay, we're gonna do this. It's gonna happen into it could take 4 to 8 years to literally tone it down. Literally let all the cases pass away. Literally all the what do you call legislations have some sort of expiry date. I keep forgetting. They need to be renewed after a certain amount of time because people know that it gets outdated. So you have to let all of them run away. Again, it's a very hard process, but doable. Again, if be mindful, there are places where we go. That's the whole point. No income tax is doable. It's like in no income tax, people think no tax. It's not the truth. You have corporate tax. You have basically all other things, GST, road tax. There are many method. And again, removing that bureaucracy, boosting the consumption of the public. It's the same thing. Countries have tried, like back in the past, where like, people like, what if you increase the tax percentage? Yeah, your income decreases. Why? People no longer make enough money. People do not have enough circulation. It has happened. It's a basic thing taught in what you call commerce. It's not even a new thing. It's a commerce thing. It's like known thing. So that's there. No income boosting consumption. Fuel cell. What you want me to talk about fuel cell? After burning Blu-rays, DVD, then trying to read a DVD tray opens automatically. The Blu-ray is damaged or my DVD problem? After burning Blu-ray DVD, there is no Blu-ray DVD. So what are you talking about? Like, do you have a basically Blu-ray writer and you wrote a Blu-ray DVD, but it's Blu-ray drama or my DVD player problem. DVD players cannot play Blu-ray. You have to have a Blu-ray disc player. Yes, and again, if you have like let's say a like I'll give you an example. So let's say this is a Blu-ray. This is a 25 gigabyte disc, single layer Blu-ray. This is a normal Blu-ray stamp, but here's the. This is also Blu-ray, but you can see this is 4K UHD. This is 100 gigabyte disc. If a player can play this, does not mean this can be played in the same player. So that is there. So if you are burning anything that is on the like anything burning in this sort of system, Blu-ray, what is this? Yeah, Blu-ray disc XL, which is like 100 gigabyte. Yeah, you're not gonna run this on normal Blu-ray player, let alone a DVD player, unless you have a 4K player. Basically, any player that can play these puppies, this logo directly, only then you can expect it to work. But won't it create more in income equality? Again, tax does not do anything to stop it. America has tax. It has the worst in income inequality. And again, income tax. Where do you think rich people will spend money? Where do you, like moon, Mars? They will spend it on, again, think of it this way. Let's say you are a rich person, right? You have money. Now you do not have income tax. What do? You buy into fancy restaurants. You go into places. Now you have more servants. Now you literally dump the money. Money is not to be carried away to some other places. It's there to be dumped. And the more easy it will become is like uh it's like you're fighting from a point of like you already have made up your mind. You're not thinking about it. You're already made it up. It's like, yeah, would it be different? Of course. Would it be possible? Again, countries exist. We go to there. People run there. Literally, companies are going there because again, it's called tax heaven for a reason. And again, they are not, collapse. Heck, for the amount of money they spent on the bureaucracy, they're printing money. While other countries, they're like, we have spent 60,000 crores just to recover 10 crores. Yeah, that's how bad it is. Look into national debt. So that's why. So official freebies. Bhakti is by any government has any good for future economy? Hell no. It's like a what you call is you're cashing out. Basically, it's like a credit card that keeps getting pushed in the future, and you just hope somebody makes a new corporation to compensate for it. For example, why didn't America collapse long ago? Well, they keep creating new technology. Back into this was oil technology. After that, it was basically weapons of war during World War II. After that it was space technology. After that it was IT industry. So all these new industry created so much growth that they started to actually pay off all the old debts. Now they have new debts. I do not know what will be the new system. Most likely it will be AI based system. So now it's reaching a breaking point. Income tax equal no logic equals Indian government. Yeah. Yeah, actually government is unable to spend money efficiently, so rather than people can have invest them very efficiently. Yeah, that's the point. If people like, let's say if Indian government removes income tax, let's say more people will be like, hey, what if I do solar? That's a good thing, net good thing. More people will get a jobs in solar industry. That's a net good thing. More less load on your national grid. More good thing. More resilience because now everybody has a microgrid. That's really good. So you see, exponential benefit because you're like, I have to take income. It's like, bro, you are already. I'm making money, right? You are still charging it. You're still charging it. Like my companies have to give it. So again, that cuts from me. So if government basically, let's say there is a corporate and corporate does not have to pay corporate tax, so they will give you more salary because again it's better for them. It's like, hey, more money, you're gonna stay here for longer. But they don't. It's like, hey, we have to pay taxes. Again, income tax is like that. How the heck am I spending the money? Here's I buy a car, I pay car tax. I buy basically chips, I pay GST on that. I go to road, I pay road tax. I have water, I have to pay water tax. I have electricity, I have to pay for it. So I'm earning money, I'm paying taxes. I am spending money, I'm paying taxes. Why the heck you need this extra chunk from it? It's like if there was none other things, like here's the other world. Income tax only, nothing else. See how quickly countries will run away. It's like income tax is the easiest to compromise, easiest to let go. Other things are not. Yeah, actually, government. Yeah, okay, that part happened. Oh, another thing. This to make sure that my new batteries do not get fried. I'm using this Exide water, Exide distilled water. It is battery grade. Yep. So this should allow. Ooh, this is expensive. 135. So now I'm making sure that likelihood of my battery being destroyed because of dirty water. Be mindful. Not all contamination is the same. Some contamination does not have too much effect. Some contamination destroys the battery. And given the poor experience we had with the last one, I'm taking this risk. It's like, again, 40,000 rupees. I do expect it to work for a few more years. And again, with solar, it should have enough charging system, because again, the last battery, it could have lasted if it did not have to put in so much strain. It was under too much strain. Likelihood of that strain happening with the solar system is very low. Why? Because it has two sources, not only the grid but also the solar. So the likelihood of both of them not giving it enough charge, it's low. So I do expect, hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully, I do expect it to be what you call a long lasting system. How are a really good instruction? I'm not sure. How, 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 right? That's not who. W is how. How are a really good instructor? Subramaniam ji, I'm a bit confused what exactly you are talking about. Like, you can type, it's not a locked system. It's not my Hindi channel where you have to be a member. So you can type whatever you want to type. Just take your time. No rush to it. This is the difference between the battery grade distilled water and normal distilled water. It's just basically whose word you gonna trust. At the end of the day, again, I have bought battery water. It's very cheap. This is very expensive. But why did I buy this? It's simply because I trust the brand, because again, I have bad experience with the other one. Again, it could be your local scenario also, because again, some places have mercury in the water. So if you have even a little bit of mercury, apparently it destroys the battery. Like a little bit of mercury, just like ppms, like parts per million. If you have very little amount of mercury, poof. I do not know like why it is, or like I have to go very deep chemistry looking into it and all that jazz. But reality is the same. It's like some contamination, battery is like, I don't care, bro. Other contamination, I die. So, oh, you are a good instructor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's a very kind thing to say. And yes, I do needed to hear some good things. Life have been a bit messy. So I'm going to file a nomination for MLA in Himachal. Although I have no political background, wish me that I will save my security money. Good luck. I wish you all the best. Hopefully you become an MLA. I have seen things happen. I have seen things happen. So good luck. I will not count you out of the race just yet. Oh, and be mindful. I just realized all the inverters like Luminous series, especially the big ones, like this is a 24 volt one, does not have. But if you go 36 volt or 42 volt, they have a system for running naughty loads. Basically, yeah, they have a connection port known as TDR. TDR. So this is for output should be used for loads having high in rush current only. Induction motor basically. So again, 24 volt system did not have that. Higher voltage system did have that. I'm too frustrated with this system. It's simply because it's like, again, if the installation was not this bad now, I would have not. But right now it's like so frustrating where it's like, little bit more, I could run a AC. Little bit more, I may not even need to buy a VFD to run a what you call induction motor. But again, as of now, this is what it is. I need to find a way to run an induction motor. Help me out with that. From which party? I think he can run as independent, Code King. Not sure about that, but I think he can run as independent. So there is that. And again, if you are doing solar or any sort of electrical, please buy a box of these. These are not expensive, very cheap in Amazon. Just buy it. And again, crimpers are also not that expensive. And sometimes you can buy a kit of them, like 1500 rupees. You're gonna have this crimper, and this works till 10 mm. So unless you are using cable that are thicker than 10 mm, you more than good enough. More than good enough. So I would urge you, like if you have electrical currents, again, I'm doing it a lot. And again, this is the first time this big puppies, yellow one and the red one, were used in my house. because generally I only most common cable I have is 1.5 mm, so these ones I used a lot. Sometimes I have 2.5 mm cable, that is 250 pieces of that, so sometimes that are used. Four I have used today, first piece. Yellow one today, first piece. Red one, it's only used for solar DC cable, that is 10 square mm, because again my cable length is very long. They were saying that it will not work, but let's see. What do you think about sodium ion battery as storage? Again, it needs some time to cook, and when I say cook, it means it needs an ecosystem. For example, why can't I just buy a lead acid lithium ion battery and put it in my inverter? This ecosystem is designed for lead acid, meaning the charging topology it has, basically how it charges the battery, is designed for lithium ion. If you put a lithium ion battery, does not matter, lithium iron battery, lithium phosphate battery, lithium titanate battery, does not matter, lithium ion, lithium iron, lithium titanate, it will try to force lead acid topology charging structure onto them. So generally you can buy battery boxes that are like, lead acid compatible. What does that mean? That simply means the BMS is fighting. BMS is like, no, 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 I'm gonna convert it. So it's a very sloppy use. Unless you have an inverter that is designed for lithium ion charging system. Again, even in lithium ion, it cannot be just like lithium ion go YOLO. It has to be lithium iron, it has to be lithium ion, it has to be very solid about that. Only then you can have a very efficient system, otherwise you will waste a lot of energy. So same goes with the sodium. Sodium, you cannot just like, okay, I built a sodium cell. You need charging circuit for it. You need mass production of ICs. Thankfully lithium has the IC part sorted, again not in this scale yet, but again I've seen some companies that are coming into the market right now that have lithium ion directly. None of the, like, forcing a lead acid system. It is doable, it's just like companies that are very behind schedule. So sodium ion needs that part sorted, like where hundreds of company has to make hundreds and thousands of basically balancing circuit, charging circuit, monitoring circuit, and the components have to be made. All of that is done only then it's ready to market. Right now it's not ready to market. You can use it, but it's not ready to market just yet. I'm too confused to play Blu-ray. I have 25 GB HP Blu-ray disc, 100 GB SEMS with Blu-ray logo, Asus Zen Drive, V1 player with power. Okay, you are confused, and you have successfully made me confused. Here's the deal. If you have a player, like a PC player, anything that you are burning, basically any system where you are writing data to the disk, it will work in computer without any issue. Blu-ray player is the difficult part. And if you want to run, let's say I want to run these disk on my computer, it cannot run because they have copyright protection. So I have to break the copyright algorithm on my basically this, what is called this, drive. So I have to install Libra drive and hack it. So after that I can run this and rip it up. So you may need to do that if you have movies. If you do not have movie, if you are burning data, let's say you are burning data into this, then it's not an issue. So what is that? I did not get what's use. I'm not sure. Code King, which party? I do not understand what exactly you are asking. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, these are the current requirements I have. Please, if any of you know how to run a basically jet pump, 1 HP jet pump using inverter, using VFD, please tell me. Because again, VFD that I did manage to try to find, what you call, in the shop, they were talking about like 19,000 rupees. That's too much. That's too much. So, and again, I get it. VFD is not a very, again, solar VFDs are a thing, but again, they require DC. And unless I like rewire all the panels, because again panels are rated for the panels I have configured in 2S2P, 2 are in series, 2 are in parallel, so voltage is 80. I have to connect all of them in series, only then I can have enough voltage to run a VFD directly. So that's an option, but not a recommended one. So if any of you can tell me like can I run basically from inverter, again I am willing to shut off everything and just run the jet pump. So, and again, it should not be needed. It's just the inrush current. I have to figure out a way to stop the inrush current. And if I can have a way of like basically what you call soft start it. There used to be ecosystem of soft starter, but it's not available anymore. So if I can have a soft starter, that will solve all my problems. So if any of you know, please do help me out that. I'm only burning data. Yeah, then you should not have any issue. Do you have a NAS? No, I do not. I did wanted to try that, but like hard drives are expensive, very, very, very expensive. To be fair, I'm not loaded. That's the reality of it is. That red, blue, small electronics. That red, blue, small electronics. Red, blue, small. This one? Are you talking about this? This is a crimper. As you can see. This crimps this sort of things that go onto wires. And the benefit of that is now once you actually clamp it down in system like this, you notice the crimp. Now it's a much safer connection. If you have stranded wire, A, it can splay out, B, it could break. So for that reason we have to use ferrules. It's almost necessary if you want to do a professional job, unless you are working here in solar, but other than that there is no. From where you purchased Blu-ray disc? I purchased Blu-ray disc from this weird site known as Ticona or something like that. Tech. I, for life of me, Ticona T. Hold on, let me just find you this system. I have to go to my email, find Blu-ray. Blue. Hopefully I'll Tanotis. Tentinos. That's the site where I buy things from. Weird things from. Normal things are available everywhere, but if you need weird things, I have put that. No, those are in the box. This one. These are ferrules. I think you're talking about ferrules. These are ferrules. These go into stranded wires. I have a video about this, my man. Full video in Science Thursday. So you can see. Hope you can see. I hope that clarified your system. Yeah, I have pasted the name of that. Go to that website and you can buy weird things. And they do deliver, but they are very slow. Be very mindful. They are very slow. They are international shipper. So like you almost have to forget that you have ordered something. It's very slow, but it does work and they do deliver. And I have ordered a few things, like some odd things. Yeah. As you can see, I have bought things from them. Like this is ICE jack with locking system, meaning if I plug it, my monitor has it. If I plug it in, you cannot pull it out unless you unlock it like this. So I bought like this sort of strange things you can only find there. Other than that, everywhere, normal things are easily to find. But if you want to find Blu-rays and all that, you have to go there. Like right now, I'm seeing a price of 8 terabyte hard drive. It's 19,000. Ooh, she. Expensive. Yes, now I get it. Okay, happy to help. Okay, looking at the time, it's 1 hour. Okay, I hope you guys have find this live stream entertaining and you may have learned something. Again, solar videos, a detailed video is gonna come. My ceiling fan due to lightning, but MCB was not down. Thankfully, no other. Are you sure it's lightning? And not to mention, it's not MCB's jobs to protect against lightning. You need this. So this thing, circuit breaker, it's a overcurrent protection. What you are talking about is surge. For surge, you need this surge protector. They are different things. Surge protector takes care of the surges, basically. And again, one of my weak links is my house does not have a proper earthing for electricity. Its earthing is tied to the neutral. So we do need proper earthing, like actually dig in the ground, make a good earthing. That has to be done. So that's there. Anyway, thank you guys. This was a very interesting live stream. Surprisingly, a lot of people actually watched it and very interesting questions. Thank you. I have common neutral and 2 metered connection for 2 metered connection. Yeah, it's a normal. You can have 2 or 4 as many as you want. So you need to buy a separate stabilizer if you have mainline stabilizer. Not really. Again, if it's a good stabilizer, just one, it will do. Okay. Anyways, I will see you guys next week. Hopefully with next week might be light on videos, but wish me luck. I'll try my best to put some content and I'm gonna see you in the next live stream or short tomorrow. Bye. How's it?